When sitting down to write the review for Antichamber, I had a problem laid before me. At first I wanted to write it down immediately after playing. I wanted everything fresh in my mind for the review so that I could accurately portray the feelings I had experienced while playing the game. On the other hand, I wanted time. I wanted a couple of days to sit back and to comprehend and absorb everything that had just happened. On one hand, I had just played a maze game that had puzzles strewn about it. Getting to the end was the ultimate goal, and doing so was no easy feat. Hallways twist and turn on themselves, stairways that foreseeably led up brought you to a lower level, and floors will collapse with no warning, dropping you into a whole other area of the map. Images changed depending on the angle you perceived them, and what seemed like an impossible gap in the floor was actually quite traversable given you were paying attention. The level design is absolutely astounding, and whitewashed maze mixed with bright and colorful objects makes for a disorienting and beautiful place to explore. But on the other hand, I had experienced something so much deeper, holding something with so much more substance. With each hallway presented, each puzzle shown, there lies a nearby picture of some sort. This picture, once looked at, can be changed to text. The text will present the player with advice. The advice is written to be taken in two ways. One, usually a hint of how to solve the problem ahead or find your way through this maze. The second is what this game is truly about. It can be taken as a life lesson. Those two problems left me with what is the biggest question that I need to answer in this review. And that question is, what is Antichamber? When it begins, it's difficult to figure out just what you're supposed to do in Antichamber. Are you supposed to wander around, find puzzles and figure them out? When you begin the game, it just drops you into a room and gives you the basic controls. A basic map showing the room you're in is also on the walls and expands as you explore. You can return to this room at any time by pressing the escape key and teleport to any room previously visited by using the map. But where to go and what to do is left wholly up to the player to figure out. Before long, you venture out into the crisp white halls Antichamber provides, and before you know it, you're going for a ride. The number of times I was wandering around and the solution to a puzzle I had not quite figured out dawned on me, had just figured itself out in my mind, were numerous. Luckily, the easy ability to teleport back to where that puzzle was is a godsend in a game that you can get so easily lost in. I could never truly shake the feeling that I had control over what was happening. It felt more like that Antichamber had the reins and was showing me around, almost like I was a tourist. And in a way, that's true. I was indeed being led around by the game itself. At its core, Antichamber is a maze game with puzzles mixed in, where you, the player, must get to the end of the map by traversing rooms that have very specific solutions to them. Some may be as simple as walking in a circle that leads to nowhere until a door finally decides to show itself. Others are a bit more difficult, such as using a tool that moves blocks around in order to hold open doors that close when you end up getting close. After a few tries, the solutions to the puzzles became clear, and I never really felt stuck or confused for long. The game does an excellent job disorienting you, on the other hand. You'll quickly realize that not everything is as it seems in Antichamber. For instance, one room is an art showcase. Depending on where you are in the room itself, it changes the art that's shown to you. Figuring out where the exit in the room is half the fun, and also the puzzle and a part of the maze, all mixed in. The kicker is knowing you have to do this all within a certain time limit. When you begin the game, you start in a bare black room with a timer ticking away on the wall in front of you. What this timer indicates and what happens when the timer reaches 0 is a puzzle in itself. During my playthrough of Antichamber, I found myself getting lost from time to time, and that can be frustrating. But quickly, you'll yourself learn the ins and outs of this maze. What rooms lead to where, what areas are traversable by just walking, and what need a little bit more fixing than that. And that's what truly sets Antichamber apart. It makes it an experience. The puzzles in the maze are all well and good, but it's the journey through it all that makes it worthwhile. It's all a representation of living life, succeeding in the face of adversity, accepting hints and help when you desperately need them, and learning something of yourself along the way. On numerous occasions, I found myself pausing after a puzzle and reading a little message the game would give afterward. Always positive, always simple, and always inspiring. More than once I found myself smiling after a puzzle or a maze that had been solved. If Antichamber did one thing right, it was successfully portraying the simple truths and difficulties of life, and the joy that comes from overcoming those difficulties. This is why indie games exist, my friends, for gems like Antichamber that we might not have seen otherwise. Go and get lost in the maze and learn something about yourself. Antichamber deserves your attention.